The 6th annual Fire in the Swamp, held on the outskirts of Picayune, Mississippi, offered a host of fun activities, entertainment, and education for all who attended.
That hat gives you a medieval look. I guess that's the point.
Well, I do medieval reacting as well, but it's more to protect the back of my neck. Iron from iron ore using charcoal. About every 10 minutes I add 2 pounds of ore, and I put a layer of ore, a layer of charcoal, a layer of ore, a layer of charcoal. After about 4 hours of that, we'll use 40 pounds of ore and about 80 pounds of charcoal to create about an 8-pound bloom that will be further consolidated into iron bar the same way it was done 1,000 years ago.
That's the bloom hiding right inside there with charcoal burning sitting on top of it. That's a big bloom. Looky there.
Try not to let stuff right there off.
Oh no, you're fine. I can try.
Charcoal.
This can be reshaped, reformed, and made into a usable bar. And from the bar, it can be made into anything that you need made out of iron.
Okay, Larry, tell me a little bit about this year's Fire in the Swamp.
Hey, welcome back, Bill. This is our 6th annual Fire in the Swamp, and this year we've actually expanded to having a Cajun Cookoff. We also got our iron pour going on for this evening, so we got people over here working on making the molds, as you'd seen earlier. We also have knife makers from the Gulf Coast Knife Makers Association out here represented. We have Creative Picayune Arts Council represented, and we have the Gulf Coast Blacksmith Association represented. So again, it's been a grand turnout as far as the participants, and our gate count has been brilliant. Lots of people come out and got to participate in numerous activities and seem to have had a really good time. And I'm really happy that this season has gone on just brilliantly. We still have one more day tomorrow, and if the weather holds out, we're looking forward to another good day of casting and forging.
Been dealing with Fire in the Swamp now. This is the 5th year for me, and we've been trying to grow it a little bit, make it a little more entertaining, and we thought that this year a Cajun cook-off between Mississippi cooks and Louisiana cooks would be something to do. Cooking is a fire art, which is what we deal with up here. We had sauce piquant, we had a jambalaya, we had a pastelai, gumbo, and I'm not sure exactly what the other cooks cooked. There was 8 of them out there. We had a competition on it, and it was kind of a loose competition because everybody really wins. And this does benefit Wounded Warriors, which is a good charity. And each one of our cooks are going to take home something handmade. I've got ladles hanging on my booth over there that each one of the cooks is going to take one of those home and an apron. And what we're about up here is a good time, a good weekend for a bunch of blacksmiths and a bunch of people who don't know anything about it to come up and see. People think blacksmith is a dying art. It's not. There are a bunch of us, and they don't actually refer to us as blacksmiths so much anymore. It's metal artisans, but it amounts to the same thing. And I am 3rd generation blacksmith, and I do it for the fun, and I enjoy it.
Patina is essentially like an oxidized layer on top of the metal. In this case, it'll just be a pretty layer on top of the metal, so it'll be colored from the linseed and the terps. Just apply a light layer, kind of counter brush my original brush to get some of the marks out, the brush streaks out. Although I'm not too particular about that either, I'm always pleased with the results. So another thing that I'm mindful of when patinaing is that if I'm looking for a specific color, then I probably need to stop before I'm ahead, because even after I remove the heat, the metal is still hot, so the color will continue to change. And with the linseed oil and turpentine mix, you can get a range of color from yellow to purple, dark purple, that can almost seem black sometimes. This is basically just a scaly layer on top of the metal, so if you wanted to, you could take this back off and do it again as many times as you feel is necessary before you get it right. That's just one example of a patina. I'll add them after applying heat. With the exception of the hydrogen peroxide, I found that brushing this on cold first, and giving it a minute to soak into the metal and then hitting it with the heat produces richer results. So that's one exception, but I'm infinitely curious.
While daytime activities were educational and informative, nighttime at the forge brought forth a surreal atmosphere filled with a special excitement, fueled by smoke, glowing sparks, fire, and flowing molten metal, all topped off with a magnificent blazing bonfire. Most of the evening was dedicated to preparing the fire to produce the molten material needed to pour into the sand molds created by participants during the day. Casting is a 6,000-year-old process. One of the oldest surviving castings is a copper frog from the year 3200 BC.
Here's the pattern, and that's what we wanted to cast.